All right, I'd like to call the June Public Works to order. Tony wants to go on vacation, so we're gonna make him wait till last and hold this off for a while. No, I'm kidding.
Everybody's gonna go quick, just so you get out of here.
Right. But if you want Tony to do something tomorrow, ask now, because
I've been waiting a year and a half.
See now.
well, hold his feet to the fire. Don't let him go on vacation.
He
So
needs some turtle crossing signs.
Does it? I stopped for.
somebody
turtle
stole
today,
ours, I heard.
Put
I
my
don't know what
lights on
happened
and
to
everything
him,
while
but-
across the road.
Oh.
And I almost got rear-ended. All right.
All right.
We're continuing with the mowing of the airport and roads, as whenever we have mowers running, which has been quite a bit of a struggle this year.
And the rain stops now and then. you know?
Yeah, between the rain and the breakdowns, but, so if you see high grass, we're getting to it. Roadside sign maintenance, bridge maintenance and repairs. So hot mix patching in county roads and site distance clearance. We assisted the town of Canaan, with Paul and Blacktop, one of their, paving projects, and a couple tandems on it for them.
How did Brenda rate? I don't know. Okay.
We actually happened to have enough trucks to do it that day, so we got lucky.
Was Frisbee?
What's that?
Frisbee Street?
Yeah.
Fine.
Brian's here.
Usually not the trucks, it's the drivers that's the problem. Right?
Yeah, it's one or the other. We either have the drivers or no trucks, and the other way around. Completed culvert and drainage work on County Route 7 in the town of Gallatin. And since the writing of this, we've completed the shoulder reconstruction on that road as well. Next will be paving. Doing culvert and drainage work on County Route 21 in Hillsdale. That's ahead of Golden Place reclamation, or I should say ahead of shoulder reconstruction, Golden Place reclamation and paving. Culvert and drainage work on County Route 5 in towns of Canaan and Lebanon. And again, that's ahead of the upcoming construction. And catch basin replacement on Spook Rock Road, County Route 29. And as usual, storm damage cleanup. That's pretty much every month now.
Weekends anyway.
Yeah, weekends, exactly. Personnel, we have one senior MEO has retired. And since the writing of this, we've had one MEO that is also retired, one MEO 2. We have one MEO out on a leave of absence and one road foreman out on workers' comp. New business, annual safety training for the county, towns, villages, and city of Hudson was held on June 10th and 11th at the fairgrounds. Another successful year for that. One assistant general foreman and 2 road foremen attended the annual Cornell Highway School at Ithaca. And as stated last month, New York State passed the budget with an added $50 million for CHIPS this year and $50 million next year. The current runs show Columbia County will be receiving $2,646,136.83 in CHIPS, which is an increase of $192,498.72. And then the numbers for extreme winter recovery, Pave New York, and Pave Our Potholes already. That total there is a little over $4 million. So, and I have a resolution to add that money to the budget.
Move it.
Second. Motion and second, all in favor, just the budget. So he has money to spend. He's find a way to spend it, do you think?
You fix that.
It's already spent. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm gonna finish what we're doing.
Maybe fix that catch basin, man.
Chris, can you take care of that while I'm off?
If he moves it on county property, I will.
Tony, I got a question.
Yes.
The state's gonna do a culvert on 23. Do you know where you guys know where that is, what culvert they're doing?
Yeah, it's by the
kind
where the power thing is there, by the cemetery.
Right there before it's
Right by the intersection of the town.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's just on the far side, just on the east side of that intersection.
And they're gonna be using our County Route 21, correct? Right, which we are,
And 11.
and
Got 11,
11,
yeah, got 11, already marked.
And 21 is gonna work out, we think, because we should have the shoulders done, weather and equipment permitting, by the time they close that. And then they should be done by the time they have to do Golden Place, which is scheduled right now for the end of August.
Okay.
Hopefully the timing works out.
The state's indicated that they anticipate starting right at the end of June, going through June into the second week of July, and then opening up the road again.
So timing should be good.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, go on vacation.
Any other questions for Tony before he leaves on vacation?
I'm gonna wait for the stay for the rest of
Yeah.
the meeting. All right. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you, Tony.
Have a great vacation.
That's number 2.
Yeah, Ray is up next with
You got it in
engineering.
Before another one.
That means you don't have a lot.
That's true.
Yeah.
As far as resolutions, I don't. I'm gonna make PJ very happy, the
He
fact
was-
that I don't have any resolutions spending money
Right.
this month.
And Kelly very happy.
That's true.
Yeah,
So bridges, Stuyvesant Falls Bridge Consultant continues to work with New York State DOT regarding a few minor items contained within the project manual. New York State has indicated that, there's just a couple more comments to be dealt with before they actually convene the consulting parties for the section 106. So right now they're looking for July, August timeframe. Minor items, one of them has to do with the Dutch Reformed Church, where the state had indicated that it was removed in 1969, but actually the church is there, but it was converted to a residential structure in 73 or something to that.
the church burned down.
But they wanted the timeline of what took place. So apparently it was,
The house that's converted to a residence was part of the church property, but church, so.
yeah, so there's confusion regarding that structure. And that's one of the items that they wanted to be
Okay.
identified. And as well as some of other
You
areas.
got it straightened out now? Do you need some facts on that or,
Yeah, anything that you may have from
The
town-
Yeah,
Yeah, right, from the town historian, because I think you have an in, that would be wonderful.
the church in Falls? They're saying 1969.
19, something along the lines of 1969, but then they also said something about 1973,
Yeah, I think that's
about being converted in
more
1973.
like when it burned down, I think, but I'm not sure. I gotta.
Think back a little bit.
Yeah, right.
County Route 7, over the road jam, this is down in Gallatin. The soldier piles have been installed, and as of this past Monday, contractors now started to remove the existing culvert and foundations. We had to wait until the 15th of June before they were able to get down into the stream because of the DEC permits. So that's in progress, and the three-sided precast structures in production at this point. They do anticipate that it'll be ready for delivery middle of July. So still works within our anticipated construction timeframe. Just down the road from that, working on the Mill Hill Bridge, contractor is putting in the temporary foundations and abutments for the bridge, a temporary bridge. It's anticipated that'll be completed before the end of the month. And then they'll go ahead and install the temporary bridge, which again is a county-owned bridge. And then once that's done, they'll start demoing the existing structure. Right now, they do still anticipate that that would be paved and open before Thanksgiving. Bearing pads have been approved. They're in production. Those are supposed to be ready middle of July, which was that big hang up for us on the stall bridge. We had a delay there, but right now they went to a different vendor and that seems to be unscheduled. Buckwheat Bridge, as well as Rossman, in both of those instances, two different consultants for two different bridges, but we've been working on scope summary and outlining existing conditions and the extent of the proposed work for each one of those structures. If all goes well, I'll be going to each one of the municipalities, town of Livingston and then town of Claremont, for Buckwheat in the August timeframe to provide at least initial thoughts on what we plan to do with that structure. And then Rossman would be the same in the August timeframe as far as presentation to the towns. County roads, engineering department has submitted an application to New York State DOT under the roadway departure improvement program to replace the guide rail along County Route 29, which is Spook Rock Road. Total amount of the funding available is $357,862. That's the state share. Supervisor Knott was kind enough to share an email that New York State indicated that there were no applications submitted. So I reached out to them immediately after receiving that, forwarded a copy of the actual email that we had that indicated we had submitted and provided proof that we submitted well before the deadline. They acknowledge that they received it and they will be reviewing. My understanding is that that's the only application that's been submitted in the county. So
So I
They
don't
may
think I
not-
need to have a scoring
they
team.
may or may not convene the scoring committee.
Yeah.
This one's, right, this one grant, and then all of a sudden everybody else applied.
Yeah, I was like, what was the
Yeah.
County 7A, coordinating a meeting with the town of Copake. Actually, that's now going to take place, next week, meeting next Friday, with the town of Copake Road Committee, just to provide them the status of that overall project. I've provided a copy to the committee members, of the presentation.
Yeah.
It indicates what's taken place, why the delays, most of the delays, obviously, the section 106.
Anybody need to look at that? while we're
4F
here, or-
process. There are a few items, because we're dealing with the clock. We're not dealing with the bridge structure. We're not dealing, generally speaking, as far as any other type of structure. It's out of the normal realm of what DOT normally deals with. So they find it hard to know how to proceed with such a request. And there's also been a lot of turnover within DOT as well. So what tends to happen is we'll get comments from our representative from DOT, consultant, and my office will provide a response. It'll go silent for the next 3 months, and then we may get a couple other stragglers because people change as far as personnel. The other bigger item has to do with, as of January 1 of 2025, a lot of the regulations have changed as far as wetlands, as well as habitat for endangered species. So although that work was previously done by the consultant, we now need to retrack and redo some of that work and update it because it's already been 2 years since that work was done. So
Feels
again,
good about that, yeah.
yeah, so, yeah, now we have to actually inspect any culvert or opening over 3 feet because it's potential habitat for bats. Yeah. So Kelly, if you'd like, I can get you
Are
on
not
that.
going with
Right.
that.
If you don't have an inspection done.
I don't do that.
Take a field trip? Okay.
I saw the bats are at my house.
And you know, the DOT construction thing, if you remember years ago when Stuyvesant had the DOT grant to do the railroad station, it was DOT funding. They could not understand
Yes,
carpentry work, construction, brickwork, you know,
it's very similar, yeah.
and they just
unfortunately.
couldn't understand it. It's like, don't even fund those projects.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so that, I wasn't gonna review that entire document, but I just wanted to provide it for your background. Other activities, 911, continues to move forward really well. They, put all the exterior windows in, interior gypsum board is now being installed. Met on site with, 911, MIS facilities to go over the, cable routing, for the building. So there are a few changes that we have to incorporate and add some additional cabling as well. So we're working on, those details now, but Brian would start on some of that work, starting next week, June 23rd, or the week of June 3rd. But right now, also, we remain on budget as far as the project as a whole, as well as on schedule.
Our schedule is more important. Well, not more important.
11 Warren Street project is out to bid. We held a pre-bid on June 17th. There's been a total of about 20, a little over 20 contractors that picked up the packages for the various contracts. So seems as though we're getting a good turnout as far as that's concerned. So bids will be back July 8th and they'll be open and read aloud at that point and hopefully be able to move forward with that. While that process has been going on, I've been preparing an RFP for architectural services regarding the facade. Again, so that's going out to RFP as well.
Did you ever get any feedback from Hudson or anything?
No.
That's,
No, it's, I had worked with Linda Mussman and she was willing to take on trying to facilitate something. So, so I provided her copies of the original documents that had the existing facade. And she was reaching out to folks to try to get input. And she had indicated that she was not getting any luck whatsoever. So her request to me was, let's not wait any longer. Let's try to move forward. And she's not wrong, but she admits that it's always easier to critique something
Right.
versus starting from scratch, which I don't disagree. So that's why I wanted to start this RFP process. I was waiting because I was hoping to get initial feedback from Hudson so I can incorporate those comments into the RFP
Right.
to help provide guidance for anyone bidding on it. But since I didn't receive anything, I even went into the actually newly draft version of the comprehensive plan that they've prepared
Right.
for the city of Hudson, which is silent regarding anything as far as
Design standards.
design
Yeah,
standards or anything like that.
Well, they're usually cost prohibitive design standards.
Yeah, so
You know, we need to spruce that place up, some $1,000 benches that we're buying for the court.
if the board will
Oh,
approve
is that
that,
my inner mind speaking? I'm sorry.
if the board will approve that, that'll be fine.
All I wanted to do is get rid of the awning and make it look like a
Yeah.
county building, you know?
Take
but-
away the strip mall.
Right, exactly. That's all you gotta do.
There's a restaurant called Four Brothers that has this delightful Grecian architecture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stuff
Take,
like
take
that.
the bricks from the facade of 610 and move them down
And move
there.
them down.
Right.
It's kind of ironic,
They
you
do
get all
have
the
beautiful
complaints
flowers.
about not involving them and ask for the input, you ask for the input, you do nothing,
No,
so
yeah.
that's helpful.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree.
At least you reached out.
Yep,
Right, we
we're
tried,
trying.
we tried.
Yeah,
We tried.
and that's the main thing, you know.
But I do think that you raised right. If we have somebody that has some sketches and then we,
Critique.
You like this or this?
right, yep,
Or not.
neither probably.
So that's in the process.
Yeah.
As far as the RFP. Airport, we conducted a walkthrough with Homeland Security and that's, so that way they can prepare a training session that'll take place in September. So that'll be facilities, the airport, the Richmore Aviation, Sheriff's Office, emergency management. And we believe we're also going to try to, that Homeland Security regarding the security of the airport as a whole. But in speaking with emergency management, I think we're also going to try to incorporate an additional training as part of that training session regarding accident response and so forth. And that's basically based on what took place in Kobe as far as that airplane crash,
Mhm.
just so that way everyone's up to speed of what to do if it happens and occurs on the actual airport itself rather than out otherwise or other locations. Also conducted an inspection with New York State Department of Transportation regarding runway safety and any approach obstacles. They did not identify any. So I'm awaiting the final report, which is supposed to be published in about a week. And also, although not on the agenda, just to mention, I did receive contact from the contractor for the taxiway lighting, where we're converting from incandescent bulbs over to LED bulbs. That work is going to start June 30th or the week of June 30th. So we're going to have a pre-construction meeting next week on June 24th. Brian, did you see that?
Yeah.
Be with Tony on vacation, but that's all right.
Tony can come back. If he
Right,
wants. Engineering has reviewed the engineer's report and the 30% project plans regarding the water tank. So that continues to be developed. We conducted a meeting with the FAA regarding the 743 review. And again, that has to do with obstacles and obstructions. And so we're waiting for approval from them indicating that the proposed tank location will not impede the airport operation in any way. We also met with the utility company to run power out the facility as well. Goal is, again, get design completed during the summer and fall months, go out to bid during the winter, and construction will start in the spring of 2026 for that project. Courthouse EV chargers. So National Grid has agreed that they will still fund the project because we were actually able to identify and confirm that there's enough power distribution within the existing building and the existing panels. We can draw off of that without impeding any issues at the courthouse itself. So we actually won't need a complete new service with a separate meter and separate meter fees or anything like that. One of the hangups is confirming that National Grid, although we wouldn't have a brand new service, that they would still be willing to provide funding for that. And they have agreed to that, up to a cap of $24,000. So I'm just working the details out with the EV charger vendor and getting a schedule from them as well. So hopefully that makes folks happy along East Court Street or West Middle Street, excuse me.
So long, Brian doesn't have to slap in any more air conditioning units in the courthouse, right?
No, actually,
Heating draws over there.
I just have one resolution. It's regarding a county fill policy. So as you may realize, anytime the county gets involved with any construction projects, but then also along our highways, when they're cleaning ditches and so forth, that we are creating fill that we need to dispose of. And so there was never a formal written policy, and there's been concerns in the past of how that has been distributed, including trucking and going onto private properties and so forth. So the policy outlines exactly how those steps would be dealt with. So that way, it's first option to the person whose property is adjacent to the work area. They're provided the first right of refusal, if you would. Beyond that, it goes to any adjacent property to construction area. Beyond that, the next step would be each outpost will have a list of anyone that has identified that they're interested. And that's to the general public. That can be county employees, it can be general public, as far as property owners within the county. And then the county would be willing to deliver that to a 10-mile radius of the project site. So again, since there was never anything documented, we wanted to make sure that we had some document because there was concerns on how that was done. In addition, when it gets delivered or prior to being delivered, there is a release that has to be signed by the owner indicating that they're willing to accept it. And we are not taking responsibility for any rutting, septic issues, or anything of that nature.
Not having the product, you'd call that.
Right, yeah, right.
You can put me on the list. Yeah, a few loads, I'll leave a call.
Tell Tony, yep, he's got a list.
Tony's, voicemail.
Make sure it's clean.
There are, my apologies, there are a couple of little typos that I have to take care of, so there'll be a few minor edits. But I would request that the committee approve this so we can go to full board.
Move it. Second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And we are working on a secondary policy, regarding trees and wood as a whole on how we're dealing with that, because that's another item that's.
Put in a wood boiler at the shop, county shop and.
No, because then we'll have to hire additional staff to stoke it during.
Right. They'll have to be specially
And
trained, you know?
overtime on the weekends and.
We've gone through that. We got a
Yeah,
biomass
right.
boiler from NYSERDA and it wasn't big enough. No matter what they do, it burns through everything in 4 hours. So when they first started up, the guy just tried to make it look good. We're coming in like Highway Superintendent Joe Ricker was like throwing wood on it Saturday morning, Saturday night. So we wanted to buy a bigger one. Of course, what happens then? The DEC says,
no,
yeah.
only
No,
10
right.
models allowed.
Yeah.
Exactly, correct.
Can't have that.
So we're trying to over record it.
Right.
Yeah. Another time.
How you come over that crosswalk? Man?
I sent an email to,
Amy.
thank you. And, I know that you've been working with GPI on the intersection of Route 82 and County Route 7. And so, my recommendation was to just get them involved because they have worked on the rail trails within Columbia County. So they're very familiar as far as the vendors that provide those signs, the crosswalk signs and so forth. Because we don't deal with those at the county level. They're normally done at rail trail heads and things of that nature. And so I recommended reach out to GPI and get them involved so they can at least steer her in the right direction. And I said, once she gets that information, where they're going to put them, provide a permit to us, and we'll go through the permitting process, which should be turned around really quickly. But I told her to go to GPI.
You know.
Okay.
Or
Okay.
You just wanted to ask him how to hear it, didn't hear it from him, huh?
He made me through it all over again.
All right. Any other questions for Ray? That will move on to, we're moving on to facilities.
Sorry, it all flowed down.
Let's see here. Blah, blah, blah. We started doing, like going everywhere, cleaning all the AC units inside and out. Starting to try to schedule, all the other, solid waste and all the other places too. 325, place stairwell emergency light, countywide shredding. Right now we're currently painting the floor in the basement. See here, 560, work started on the 560 generator. Basically, we're all set. Tomorrow, we're gonna do a shutdown and tag on to the switch gear. So then that'll be set. This way we don't disrupt any power, for the building. We tested the UPS at MIS and it held for a good 45 minutes. We think we can get an hour. So we're gonna have a generator there to swap over. So nothing should happen, but it should run smooth. And I think the generator is scheduled mid to late July to come in. So that job won't be done by till somewhere around August, I think. But that's one of the new hookups too with the redundant system. So if the generator fails, we can bring up, we can pull the portable in and plug in and then, so have that all set. Let's see here. Public safety billing, multiple work orders, but repaired the main slider to the jail, two door positioning switches. Solid waste down in Hillsdale, we finally got down to doing that. Like all the meter pans and their disconnects are all on plywood. It's all starting to rot, so we're going to start swapping them over to strut. So this way, we don't have to worry about it. So we just got done with Hillsdale. Let's start making our way to all the other facilities. Highway replaced again, soffit vents. Currently, right now, we're working on the Copake generator. We got that one, I believe, from Austerlitz. So we're just going to install it, having the propane down. So this way they'll have some kind of power when it goes out. I think we planned on, what was it, Copake and New Lebanon, right? And New Lebanon, yeah. So we're working on that. I'm also working on a generator for the water tower in Malaysia for 911. That's pretty much what we have going on now.
No resolutions?
Nope. Next month.
Brenda has a question.
The email that I
Yep.
sent you, so we determined that that parking lot does belong to the county.
Yes.
And we have the maintenance responsibility for it.
Correct.
Are we gonna be able to respond to them about a time to repair or pave that parking lot? This is the farmer's market parking lot.
The DMV law.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So,
There was I think every supervisor got a copy of the email that
Yeah.
requesting repair.
so we've been patching it for a while now. But I had a order from the highway. We got there and we're going to be there for a while and it's just going to be a patch. So it's like, where do you start? Where do you end? So like I said, it is on the list. I had it for 2027, right now. So, but I think we look the budget, and move it up. Cause there's a lot of spots. There's like some dips where there's a lot of puddles,
Yeah.
so,
And it's been patched many,
Yeah, there's a lot of
yeah,
benefits.
that's basically what it is. So,
We probably ought to do something about it before the farmer's market opens, because that's where the resistance is coming, is from the patrons of the farmer's market.
Yeah.
Because the puddles are quite large.
yeah.
I feel if we call them bird baths.
I think bird lessons is
Yeah.
generous.
So,
Children's water feature.
yeah.
Splash pad.
Just put some pink in.
They got a splash pad.
Perfect.
Water park.
Yeah, well, if it just would rain on Saturday, we would have had puddles, but it seems to be but no, it was on the list for that, so.
And then as we get into budget season, we'll see whether we can move that from 27 to 26. Start looking at some numbers.
That's something we do in-house. Do we have a paper to do that? Or not?
So we usually try to take the old down dry box it, but
It only
that,
took us about 10 years to do the DSS parking lot, as I remember. That was in the budget a few times too, but we'll get there.
Those aren't used for public purposes, and do they lease that parking lot? Do they pay
No.
attention for it?
No.
It's
No.
free, okay.
We could work on that though,
Okay.
We could start charging, then you have money for.
As long as they're local farms, we want to support local farms.
Right, yeah.
But it's nice to be on a first name basis for the complainant, right?
There has to be.
You call it right out in that email?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Brian!
Perhaps you can reach out to the city of Hudson and see if they can contribute to the
That's a good idea. I
Mhm.
like that. And I know that's you.
Because I know they have such concerns.
Yeah,
That was not a serious.
I'm thinking about this, but yeah.
No, it is, I don't mind reaching out.
Yep. All right. If nothing else from Brian, we'll move on to solid waste. PJ's gonna be happy. You guys didn't spend any money.
We'll make up
And
for it
then
next
comes
month.
Next one, yeah.
When's that 5 was?
I have a lot.
But, there's no big expenditures there, I know.
Okay, so Waste Zero is the company we use for our garbage bags. Currently, right now, we have a contract, agreement with them that it was 3 one-year extensions. I reached out to them because we're nearing the end of the contract, to see if they'd like to extend it or if I needed to go out to bid. They came back with a 2-year agreement where the price would move, 5%. Sounds a lot, but it's pennies per bag. This coming contract season, and then the following one, it would remain the same. It wouldn't increase at all. And I do just want to say that they are a little worried about the price of resin in the future. So if we can lock into this, it might be ideal. But I needed committee approval on that because I would be changing the agreement that stated we'd have 3 one-year extensions to 1 2-year extension. So that will be a resolution request. Right now, we're paying 17 cents a bag for small, 31 for medium, 37 for large. It would go up 2 cents for the medium and large and 1 cent for the small per bag. I had waste reduction policy draft sent to you all. I did remove the EPP, which is the environmental purchasing policy aspect of that. There was a little resistance with that. This policy allows for the county to stay in compliance with our local solid waste management plan, so there will be a resolution request to follow for that. And our scale was calibrated on Wednesday, the 4th. Weights and measures and comes in October for the recertification on that. Everything went well. Every single load cell weighed perfectly. It was it was fantastic. And we have 1 MEO on leave of absence at the moment. Those are our numbers. And then our resolutions. So the first one is seeking authorization to extend the current contract with Waste Zero for 2 additional years.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
My second is requesting authorization for the adoption of a Fundy County waste reduction and recycling policy.
Move it. Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Are we gonna have an educational time with some of the department heads to enact that a little bit?
We will have to,
Okay,
yes.
yeah, then.
Yep, and it's not anything new.
No, it shouldn't be, but yeah, I do think it's gonna take some awareness somehow or another. How do we educate people?
Yeah, we will do that. This is authorization to fill 1 part-time labor position,
Move it.
and it is budgeted, yes.
Yep, motion and a second, all in favor?
And the second is to fill 1 budgeted full-time motor equipment operator position.
Move it. Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
And then my last one is requesting authorization to sell at auction 8 of our 20-yard roll-off containers that are not in any kind of repair at this point. We are actually removing 3 of the doors on 3 of the containers that we're going to put out for auction, because the doors are fairly new. So we'll repurpose them on some of the containers that we have now. But they have literally outlived their useful life and are,
Move it.
Good for Questar to teach our young welders some patience.
Yeah, right.
Right?
okay, yeah.
Holy cow, I see some like.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Did you get the new ones through orders? The new dumpsters?
The roll-up
Roll-ups?
containers, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
I did read this morning, it looks like the state's recycling program did not go through assembly, so. Though we did a resolution trying to get that nudged along, but
It's not
a
my,
lot of people were behind it, but I think a lot of things got dropped at the end of the day here. So
Next year.
so,
next
yeah,
year,
next year I'll be coming back
and we'll try it again, you know, but
for another support letter,
Yeah.
because it was a good idea.
I'm sure it'll be changed by then, but yeah, it's.
Yep.
Basically, it's a good idea, and maybe there's probably some issues that need to be worked out, I don't know.
Do you accept brush only at Greenport? Or is it
Small
others?
quantities.
And do people use the punch card? Is that how they judge that?
No, it's weighed with a $5 minimum.
Is it a pain in the ass?
To collect brush?
Just to deal with it, handle it?
Yes,
Is that something we should consider calling from the,
yes.
And we used to take a lot of it, and then we,
I
when we
remember
redid the
Miles.
parking lot, you know. It took up a lot of space with the new containers and everything, so. Town of Kinderhook will take it, there you go.
No.
you used to have a tub grinder over there, right?
No, we still collect it. Don't worry.
Amazing.
These half-acre
So the
lots
town of
that get so
Kinderhook
many
takes it
trees.
for the town of Kinderhook residents or for anyone in Columbia County, just
And
your
they pick it up on the
residents?
street too for everybody.
Yeah,
you
but
know.
not my street.
Okay,
Well, not your street, no.
So we implemented new fees last year, right? Is that helping with your revenue stream or did
no,
your tonnage go down?
no, we needed the tonnage to go down. We can only
Waste you're
accept,
talking about.
oh, of waste or of the yard waste?
No,
The brush?
I'm off to the next day, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
The new fees, are they helping at all with your budget?
Oh, with the garbage fees, yes.
And you didn't lose any tonnage in that regard?
We're pretty steady as far as
Well, I know
how
there's
we were
concerns if
tracking
you raise your
last
prices,
year.
they might go somewhere else. or something
I
like that.
think the first couple of months you see that, but now that we're a little bit busier again, the tonnage is going back up a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not picking up any extra tonnage. Mhm.
But it's helping.
It's keeping us the same.
Not losing any more, how's that? Maybe.
I mean, it's not elevating our revenue at all. We're kind of still flatlined.
So you're bringing in less.
Our, probably.
If you, well, and so-
I mean, it's hard to tell right now because we did bring in less garbage. And we've been very slow, but it's just June now.
Right.
So we're not going to see exactly how our revenue line looks until the end of August, September. And then we'll be able to kind of gauge
That's a better idea.
how everything's been going.
Right.
I mean, tonnage looks to be about the same. Mhm.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor?